everyone. Coach Sullivan here with MGS Coaching Football. To my subscribers, I thank you. And to those who haven't yet, I hope you do. I just completed my 38th year coaching football, of which I was a defensive coordinator. But during that time, I've also been an offensive coordinator, special teams coordinator, longtime head coach, and all of this at both the collegiate and high school levels. Today, in this presentation, I want to talk to you about how we defend 3x1 out of a 10 personnel 3x1 set that we call Toledo. Okay. And it's still going to be our base check for our match quarters, okay, which is check steal. If you go to my 3x1 coverage on the whiteboard playlist, you'll see it's in there already verses 11, Texas and Texas off. Okay. So this is an auto check for our match quarters, which is, here's not lying to you, gray 4 or gray 3. Again, you have to go to my match quarters on the whiteboard playlists, okay? And I also have a playlist with just the huddle playbook and my little insert. But anytime the call is, gray 4 or gray 3, and they give us 3x1, the auto check is steal. Okay, so now we have other calls that we make, but I signal that. If I don't signal anything after grade 4 or grade 3, then it's an auto check steal. Okay, with a subsequent, depending on if we're in base or rotate, subsequent way we handle the one receiver side. So that's what this presentation is about. Okay, so with all of that, the key terms are what check steal is. It's a call for the 3 receiver side. Okay, and as I said, auto check. The reasons for it in both of our match quarters, again, 4 or 3, the defenders on their side of the football are reading or reacting surface to their number 2. All right, so 2x2, it's kind of easy. 2 back, one side has 2 receivers, the other side, it's number 2's in the backfield. But either way, you have a number 2. Well, when an offensive formation becomes a 3x1, now you don't have a number 2. And we're not including the back in the backfield. And you have immediate threat of 3 verticals coming off of one side, so you got to play it and cover it a little bit differently, hence why we're doing this, okay? So that's the reasons for it. The invert is when we're in base, and I don't use the word base, but our kids know everything that's a part of the base plan. When I make a call that puts us into a different plan, like rotate in this case, okay? And those are primarily the 2 that we go from. Everything emanates from the base, and rotate is a tweak to that, okay? So this 2 is an auto check invert, as you'll see. All state goes with invert, which means it's a base combo. As you'll see on the one receiver side, it's the safety and the inside linebacker are going to combo 1 in the running back. So any routes under 10 yards will be played by the safety and the inside linebacker in combination with what the running back's doing, okay, as you'll see. When we call Dabo, that means we're in rotate tag. And Dabo is the one receiver side call where it's the outside inside linebacker now will combo number 1 receiver in the running back, again, under 10 yards. Okay? So those are going to be the key terms. And on top of the dividing line here, I have the base versus 10 gun Toledo pistol. And on the bottom is a rotate. Same thing versus 10 gun Toledo pistol. Okay? So if you recall from my base fronts on the whiteboard, rotate versus base or base versus rotate. Base, we're going to give you 2 high safeties against everything. Rotate, our safety structure is going to match your backfield structure. So if you got 2 backs, we got 2 safeties. You got 1 back, we got 1 safety, right? So as an example, what I have up here is the call was, okay, 50 grade 4, clap. That's the call, right? Turn and look at the offense. Now, to get to rotate, before I start going over it, Just that little thing at the end tells our guys we're in rotate mode. And they've been taught how to adjust for rotate mode as opposed to base, and you're going to see that play out right now. Okay? So, before I forget, I mean, if I had called 50 slant 2, grade 4, right? Or in other words, if I call a run line stunt, a rifle stunt, a pistol payload, or some kind of a pass rush stunt, that stays. It's the coverage that gets checked. Okay, so the front stays. If I call the run line stunt, that stays, but the coverage gets checked. Okay, so again, this is specific when we are in our base or even rotate, but we're in our match quarters. Okay, grade 4 or grade 3. So this isn't a blitz situation. This isn't a man coverage situation. Those are all other presentations in terms of how we handle it when we get a 3-by-1. Okay, so those questions are not applicable here. Those are handled differently. All right, so now I want to begin. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to utilize green when I start illustrating things on the defensive side of the ball because that's all I'm going to illustrate. Okay? So up top, again, we're in base. Okay, which means 3 receiver side, 1, 2, 3, we're going to be an automatic overhang, which means both outside linebackers are 2 to 3 receivers. Okay? So Toledo, this is again 10 personnel. I don't care what the configuration is of the 3 receivers. It's 10 personnel. There's 4 receivers, 3 on one side. That's a Toledo to us. Again, I don't get into naming it 5, 6 different things just because 2's here versus 3's there. Hey, they got 3 on one side, wide receiver on the other. They're all wide receivers. Yeah, it's Toledo. Okay? So the way it works, and again, if you've seen my base fronts on the whiteboard, right? If it's 2-by-2, the rover and the Mike are right, Diamondback are left. If it becomes Toledo to our left, the rover follows his number 2 because that's how we teach it. So he lines up over 3. The dimes on the 3 receivers are left on his side, so he stays over 2. But that's the overhang. So we immediately have 4 over 3, but that also means we're in the 5-man box. Okay, it's a 5-man box. We have minimum box numbers in our base because we could keep 2 high all the time. Okay, but watch how this plays out now. On the check steal side, as I said, 3 receiver side. We're not getting our match quarters now. In other words, we're not all reading and reacting to number 2 because we have the extra receiver. So I'm going to start with who plays the verticals. The corner plays 2 to 1 vertical, find work. So he's reading surface, but on the snap, he's rotating back to get over number 2. Okay? Because check steal, we're stealing a vertical. We're playing 3 verticals with 2 defenders, as you'll see in a second. Okay? Free safety. By rule in 3-by-1, just apexes, gets in between 2 and 3. Okay, at 12 yards. He's playing 3 to 2 vertical. And keeping consistent, if you remember my other presentation of 3-by-1 coverage on the whiteboard, if 3's vertical, he's going to make a Virginia call, which tells the corner if 1 and 2 are both vertical, get over 2. And the goal is we're going to make a quarterback throw across the face of both the safety and the corner, which is a tough throw. And that's the purpose. That's why we play it that way. So if you're playing somebody that can make the throw, check steal is not a great idea. But for the most quarterbacks, that's a very difficult throw, right? Again, we're not talking Heisman Trophy with Davey O'Brien and Wood winners here. For the average good quarterback, that's a tough throw. Okay, so we play check steal a lot, but when we face somebody who can stick that throw, we don't play this. Okay, we have the other ways that we can play. You have to see another presentation. If 3 is not vertical, he doesn't say anything. And so now the corner knows that safety, if 1 and 2 go vertical, safety's over 2, corner's over 1. I don't want to have too many things to say and too many things to remember. Virginia, you're on your own. Silence, you got help. Okay? So that's how we play the 3 verticals over here. What's meant by GM2 FW, flat wheel. Okay, by alignment, okay, their priority is out here. I mean, we've got plenty of run support in the perimeter. I'm not concerned about that as much. You got to buy your corner time. If you just race to the flats, so you let number 2 go up the field, depending on who it is, you're putting the cornerback in a bind. You're making him itchy. So just by being in his way and forcing him to make moves and slowing it up so he can't just race down the field, that's what we mean by jam. I mean, if you can ever get hand or hands plural on the guy, bonus. But, receivers, they're taught to avoid, so you're not that likely. That's all we mean by jam. And then you're going to buzz the flat. And if there's a receiver in the flat, becomes a wheel, you carry the wheel, hence flat wheel. Okay? So jam, get in the flat. GM3 curl, same thing. Slow up the release of 3. Okay, 3's in, 3's out, 3's vertical. Now you're reading 2 to 1. Is he in the curl? Is 1 in the curl? Okay, so they're both outside linebackers are working outside. Because inside backer reads surface, so let's just have the surface show pass. He pivots. He's looking at 3. Is 3 coming in? As if he is, it's his match quarters technique. Cut it and run with it. He's yours. If he's not, is 2 coming in? If he is, again, match quarters. Cut it and run with it. He's yours. If neither 2 or 3 are coming into him, then he mirrors the quarterback. Again, that's all his match quarters. So it's not a lot different there, except it's 1 additional guy to read, 3. So inside linebacker technique's very, very similar. But that right there, these 5 defenders are the check steal side. Okay? So now over here, on the 1 receiver side, we designated as 1X. That's usually their dude that they're hoping they can get in an island and get a one-on-one with. So I'll start with the corner. He's got 1 vertical. So on the snap, he's going to tempo bail. Okay, which means I don't want him just turning and sprinting, creating space that you don't need. I don't want that. Okay? Your bail, tempo bail, matches the speed of number 1X. Okay, that's your world out there. You got him vertical, so anything 10 or over, he's yours. Make sure you got on top dominant leverage. Match his speed tempo with your bail tempo. Tempo bail matches the receiver, okay? Because the invert on the snap, okay, it not a matter of they have to show pass. On the snap, he's screwing down in invert. He reads pass. Now his eyes go to number 1 because what's meant by Allstate, right? The combo between the safety and the inside linebacker, number 1 under 10 to running back. Let's say number 1 runs a hitch. I know I said I wasn't going to draw anything from the offense, but he runs a hitch. He runs a speed out. Okay, safety's going to take it. So anything under 10 by number 1 that stays outside, safety takes it. Now the inside linebacker is going to take the running back if he comes to him. Okay? If, let's say, number 1 runs a slant, or he's running a hard mesh route crosser. Okay? Now that brings in the running back. So if the running back is running a wheel or an out route versus 1 hard inside linebacker will take 1, safety will take 2, and the running back on the outside. If the running back is not doing that, okay, then both the safety and the inside linebacker can double Number one, the dude. And now the cornerback's just looking for work coming across the field. Maybe there's a Kansas City, what we call a segment, where it's gaining depth as he works across the field, right? But that's how we play it. So the combo is running back two, the safety takes the outside of the two routes. Now, if they run a speed out and the back's outside, then the inside linebacker takes the back, safety takes number one. But that doesn't happen often. Okay? If number one's, doing a hitch or an outside route and the running back's doing an angle or an inside route, then the inside linebacker takes him. I mean, that's the combo. All state. Okay? So in our base, when we get a 3-by-1, check steal, invert all state, or they're saying on one side, just saying check steal on the 3 receiver side. And one more thing, if one of these guys motions across, so it's back to 2-by-2, we just say check 4. So we go back to match quarters. Check 4. Or if the call was 3, check 3. But we go back to the match quarters that was called, either 4 or 3. Okay? So now down here, the rotate tag. First of all, right, they got one back, we got one safety. That gives us a 6-man box. So the way it works, the outside linebacker on the 1 receiver side stays in the box. The outside linebacker on the 3 receiver side lines up over number 3. Right? Remember, outside linebacker motions across. There's your new number 3, always working in the 3. So keep that consistent. He lines up on number 3. Free safety goes 1-by-8 Ike over number 2. Okay, corner stays 1-by-7 on number 1. So we're going to have 5 defenders on the check steal side. They're just going to be different defenders in 2 cases. Okay, 2 cases. Corner stays the same. 2-to-1 vertical, find work. Okay, now the safety is the jam 2 flat wheel. Still have an outside linebacker over 3, jam 3 curl. See, that's the same. So the 2 differences are the 2 safeties. Remember, rotate, the safeties are the ones rotating. The other one's adjusting. So now the safety, when in this case the whip, who's in the middle of the field at 12 yards, he takes 3-to-2 vertical. And if neither 3 or 2 are vertical, fine work is he can look to help out over here with 1X. So what we always tell him is, I always tell him is, look, surface to 3. Your eyes go to 3 before your feet. I don't want them running over and going, oh, crap, he's not vertical, and then they can't come over and help potentially with a post from X on the other side, right? So surface, you're a 12 zit, walk pedal straight back with eyes to 3. Okay? If 3's not vertical, eyes to 2, because it's 3-to-2 vertical. If 2's not vertical, now you're in a position where you can help over there. So it's going to be zit, walk, eyes first, and if 3's vertical, he gets on top. 3 isn't, eyes to 2. 2's vertical, he gets on top. If 3's vertical, you still make the Virginia call, right, to alert your corner. You have no help. If 3 isn't vertical, you say nothing, right? Walk tempo. 3 and 2 are not vertical. Now, again, eyes first, but now you're in a position to help here. And if he's not a threat, then stay in the middle of the field and read the quarterback's indicator. You're playing center field, literally. Okay? And then here, it's no different than it was up here. 3-to-2, you cut them, play them the same way you do in our match quarters. Otherwise, you mirror. Okay, on the 1 receiver side, again, we're going to get a tempo bail. And only now, it's the Dabo combo, right? Outside, inside linebacker. Outside, inside linebacker. 6-man box. Because we're matching one running back, one safety. That allows us to have one more in the box. So that's an immediate blitz threat. You're likely to keep the back in protection. Either way, in the Dabo, the outside linebacker now does what the safety did in Allstate. He takes any outside route hitch from number 1 under 10. The inside linebacker still plays the inside route. And if the back's not a threat, they both play anything underneath by number 1. And with the exception being, if he's running a speed out, he'll work out there. And if the back's not in a pattern, if he's going the other way, we'll let him key rush. But that's going to take an experienced kid. And if you have a newbie, you probably don't want to bring in the key rush maybe. So just have him find work, literally head on a swivel, be looking for crosses. The ball should be gone by then anyway. Okay? So the way we play 3-by-1 out of 10 personnel, 4 wide receivers, is the exact same way we play 3-by-1 when it's 11 personnel. Automatic when we call our match quarters, grade 4 or grade 3, unless I call something else that we want to play, it's going to be automatic check steal in base with an invert all-star on the one receiver side. It's going to be check steal when we're in rotate. It's going to be Dabo on the one receiver side. Okay? Boom, done. And again, you can remember, mix in line stunts up front, no problem, and you can still execute your coverage behind it. Okay? So again, to my subscribers, I thank you. To those who haven't yet, I hope you do. To everyone, any questions, please reach out to me at CoachMJSullivan@gmail.com because I would love to talk football with you.